In today's sewing snack, we're going to talk about interfacing and stabilizers. We often refer to the terms interchangeably, but they're technically very different in that interfacing is permanent and stabilizers are temporary. They peel away or wash out. Interfacing provides body and structure and is used in all kinds of sewing projects. Stabilizers provide support during stitching and are primarily used for projects like embroidery. As a sewist, I use interfacing, and so that's what we'll learn about today in this video. Interfacing is applied to the wrong side of fabric pieces and can be fusible or sew in. Sometimes with certain textiles like cork, thick vinyl, and leather, glue can even be used. Uses include clothing, as it's often used in collars, cuffs, waistbands, facings, and other places where a little stiffness or support are needed. And in handbags and other crafts, interfacing can add structure, body, and even loft or softness to the end result. There are as many types of interfacing as there are desired results. If you want more stiffness, softness, or structure, there are several different weights or lofts to choose from. If you want less stretch, there are options for that as well. And sometimes you can choose from cotton or synthetic options according to your personal preference. To select the best interfacing option for your project, you first need to decide what you want your end result to be. Interfacing can literally be a game changer. Here's an example of bags made with the same pattern and identical fabrics. The only difference is the interfacing and the result. This is the same project used with cork, and there's no interfacing at all on the exterior cork fabric. So the fabric weight that you start with is going to be part of the calculation when you select what interfacing to use. Let's talk about just a few of the most popular interfacings used in sewing, and one is called medium weight fusible interfacing, or MWFI, and this is a Pellon SF101, probably the most popular one that I have heard referred to as far as a medium weight interfacing. This is a really nice cotton interfacing. It has very little stretch and it adds a little stability to your projects. One side has bumpy glue dots and the other side is nice and smooth. And you adhere the bumpy side to the back side of your fabric using an iron or heat press. This is actually another grade made by the same people. This is a Pellon as well, but it's just a slightly different feel. It is made out of a synthetic fabric instead of cotton. And then we go into some of the firmer. This is actually a really nice and sturdy, firm interfacing. This is called Decovil 526, often referred to as Decovil Heavy. And this can be used, just as an example, I use it in the bottom of my little drawstring bag here. It gives it a really nice structured bottom. And it is used a lot in bag or hat making to add structure to projects. One of my favorite interfacings that I use a lot in bag making is this fusible fleece. This is a Pellon fusible thermolab, and it is used often just to add a little bit of softness or loft. It's used in projects that require a little bit of quilting or that you just want some softness in. I use it in this cute little box pouch to add softness and loft, and it's just a really fun interfacing to work with. I love the softness of it. And this I use more rarely. It's a bit harder to sew with, but this is also a fusible interfacing. It is a fusible foam interfacing, and this is made by Pellon also. It's called their Flex Foam, and I have made bags with a Flex Foam. It has its uses in bag making and in crafts, not so much in garments, but it's a really interesting interfacing to play around with. This is a little bit more of a stiff mid-weight, and it can be used in things like collars to add that structure where you want that little bit of stiffness. You kind of hear it and feel that stiffness in there. And here is a medium grade. It's not quite as stiff as the Decovil Heavy. It's more of a Decovil Light, and that is used in a lot of different bag making projects that I work with. No discussion about interfacing would be complete without emphasizing the importance to follow manufacturer's instructions. Every type of interfacing has subtle differences. The sew-on interfacings are pretty straightforward because you're going to stitch them in place. But the fusible interfacings may require a different heat setting. They may require steam or no steam. They may want you to use a pressing cloth. In some instances, you'll hold the iron for 10 seconds, or it might be 12 or 15. You might be able to move the iron over the fabric, or you might want to lift it and move it into each section to avoid wrinkling and bubbling. Usually you want to lift that iron, but read those manufacturer's instructions and also pay attention to what the washing instructions are, because that's going to affect the washing instructions of your end project. Now, regarding sourcing, you can get interfacing at your local quilt or fabric store, and there's probably going to be somebody there that can help you pick out the right interfacing for your project. You can go on Amazon, but I don't recommend that unless you already know exactly what you want and you've tried it and used it before. If you're just learning about using interfacing, I highly recommend going in person to a fabric store that has high quality service, or visiting a site that specializes in interfacing. I really like Barb's Bags. It's an interfacing site that also will educate you and explain the qualities of the interfacing that they carry. My friend actually referred me to this site, and I was really impressed with the options there. So I'll include that link in the description below. I am not sponsoring them and they are not paying me. It's just one option that you can use to find some good interfacing. If you have any questions or suggestions about interfacing, go ahead and drop them in the comments below. And if you'd like to help my channel, feel free to like and subscribe. And as always, until next time, happy sewing.